Ano ai ke aloha ia kākou. Thank you for being with us. Today, Governor Green will sign several bills that will enhance Hawaii's safety and protection measures for our communities. Facilitated questions and answers with the media will follow promptly after remarks conclude, and then the formal bill signing will commence with photo taking shortly thereafter. Without further ado, it is my privilege to welcome Governor Josh Green.
Aloha. Good to see everybody. Good to see you, Judge, a.k.a. prosecutor. So it's great to see everyone today and to see so many people from the community. I really appreciate that. More than ever in this case, this is it's our last bill signing ceremony that we have this session after a lot of legislation's passed. About 260 bills were passed this year. We got to full agreement on all but 7 of them, and then, a little wiggle room there. So thank you guys for so much incredible work. Today we're coming to discuss the important legislation that aims at keeping people safe and decreasing crime and addressing, some of the tragedies that can occur in society. In my experience, this is where people in the community make a bigger impact than any other issue, probably, because they come and speak from experience and deep concern. So thank you for leading our legislators who then lead me to this moment. So it's important. We're going to highlight several bills today, though there were many bills that were passed. We're going to focus on 4, and I'll have our legislative leads come up and break it down a little bit more. But let's go to the next slide, please. So for Senate Bill 2845, this strengthens our gun safety laws. Now, what does this bill do specifically? It aligns our laws as far as purchasing ammunition with purchasing of guns. It prohibits the sale of ammunition to anyone under age 21. There are some exemptions, of course, for target shooting and hunting. People have to verify their ID. For me, it's incredible that we even have to, as a society, ask ourselves if this is okay. I'm horrified by gun violence. In my years as a physician, I saw tragedy after tragedy, and my heart was broken on at least 2 additional occasions when my uncle and my cousin took their lives with guns, okay? And that was a different circumstance, of course. They were suffering severe depression or addiction, and I just know that that's real. That is real for my family. It's real for families all across Hawaii. It's real for families all across America. And so I'm just so pleased that you guys are continuously taking up the question of gun violence and access to guns and access to ammunition. It means something to me personally. So you've helped me today in our family deal with what we dealt with, and I'm sure many families are here wrestling with the same stuff. Okay, so thank you for that. Next bill. We go to Senate Bill 2197, expanding protections against illegal gaming activity. This expands the definition of advanced gaming to include owners and operators of illegal gambling houses. And this is important because in gambling houses, this is where often violence occurs. This is where there are a lot of drugs moving around. This is where people have guns because they are trying to protect whatever their gains are in these houses. It's very dangerous. And so, again, really, really grateful to the legislature for closing loopholes, allows the prosecutors to charge property owners and managers effectively. We have a great prosecutor, and he has vast experience in the social challenges that have occurred, whether it was drugs or violence associated with these kind of activities. So again, many mahalos to you guys for doing the job. Next bill. We go to Senate Bill 2106. Correct here. Okay. Yeah, so this bill increases the statute of limitations to protect our keiki. One of the other challenges we had in society is, on occasion, people do terrible things to young people. And from the perspective of a healthcare provider, it is very difficult for people to remember or to come to terms with what has happened over the course of their life. It means that they may not be aware enough to prosecute and to go down that very difficult road. It's probably the hardest road for most people to go down, to acknowledge that they've suffered sexual abuse, though a survivor, and then to seek justice. And so the legislature expanded the time for which people can actually go through their therapy, go through their self introspection, talk to their family, and find their way back to the courts. Good to see you again, brother. So I'm really glad about that. Keep in mind that this is not a rare problem. 1 out of 5 young women, girls, we believe, are sexually assaulted at some time in their life or suffer sexual abuse, and up to 1 in 20 boys. And you can rest assured that every single one of those individuals is going to wrestle with trauma for a long time. So let's crush the people that did that to them. Find the way to get them to have great lawyers and prosecute that. So thank you for that. And then the last bill, House Bill 2231, expands our state's goal to have women officers in law enforcement, which, fantastic. You know, I should point out that we have a pretty good goal here, in this case 30%. Are you? Yeah, that's right. I remember last time you arrested. No. Thank you for serving. Okay. We have to have these goals. We're a modern society. Let's get there. And to have women in the force, that's great. You know, we have a significant shortage of individuals in law enforcement in general, so it's great to have women coming up in the ranks, currently at 13%, way below what it should be. And I also want to commend our legislators for also acknowledging everyone in their makeup as we look at gender, so also including non-binary gender, non-binary officers in law enforcement. Super important. One of the things we've found in healthcare and in justice, which is if we have more balance, we actually get better justice. People are better understanding of the justice system, and I think that can't be understated. So we are going to be pushing hard with our team, all of our law enforcement teams, including the testimony that came from DLE. I was very appreciative of that. So thank you, brother, for that. So mahalo for all of your work, everyone. These are serious bills. This is no joke. But it's meant to make things a little safer for us each year. And please keep giving us your ideas to bring down gun violence, issues with drugs. We have concerns about them surging in our state. And please find a way so that we can work seamlessly with law enforcement in a really, truly just way to help people, to help protect our society. So, hey, thank you guys. Aloha.
Mahalo, Governor. At this time, I'd like to introduce Senator Brandon Elefante, Vice Chair of the Senate Committee on Public Safety and Intergovernmental and Military Affairs.
Governor Green, Makana, thank you. Imagine this. You're drinking coffee or tea one morning and you see people maybe not from your neighborhood. You see suspicious activity going on. Maybe your neighbor, maybe down the road, maybe a few blocks away from you. This is something that the community has reported to elected officials and us. There's one report where there's over 100 illegal gaming homes that are occurring on Oahu every day, with 30 search warrant arrests that goes out. This has an impact on the lives of our people who want to feel safe in their own neighborhoods. So I want to acknowledge you, Governor Green, and your team, the Department of Law Enforcement, HPD, Prosecutor Alm, and also working with Chair Tarnas to really get a good bill. This bill, Senate Bill 2197, passed unanimously by the legislature, and we're going to take 5 years to really look at this, and hopefully this gives another tool to Prosecutor Alm and all our prosecutors to crack down on illegal gaming homes. And we hope that the community can see that as a positive impact where they feel safe and they feel like they can take their kids out for a walk or feel like they belong. So again, thank you, Governor. And lastly, all these bills that Governor is signing on behalf of the Senate are very important. Many of you here in the room, I know the cameras can't really see what's here in the room, but those watching live stream, you have a personal impact. You had a personal touch to moving these bills along. So I want to thank you and thank all the people who are involved in this process to get where we are today. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Senator Elefante. Now please welcome Representative David Tarnas, Chair of the House Committee on Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs.
Mahalo. Mahalo, Governor, for signing these bills. We work hard at the legislature to come up with bills that address the real concerns that our community has. And there's a lot of bills that the governor is signing. There are a few that he's signing here, the few that other ones that he's signed. I'd like to highlight one that is a very important bill that we passed out of the legislature, which I think, for me, is important because I believe in redemption. I believe in second chances. And in Hawaii, we have a system for record clearance and expungement, which is very challenging. There are thousands, tens of thousands of individuals who qualify to have their records expunged. And yet it is so difficult to do that very few people do it. So out of the tens of thousands that are qualified and eligible to do it, just a handful actually go through the process. So we have looked to other states to see what are the best practices. And we've consulted our experts here in the state and across the country and came up with a bill. It is Senate Bill 2706, and this is a pilot project. What this does is it actually is it sets up what we think is a comprehensive framework. We hope to set up a comprehensive framework for all clemency efforts, including pardons, expungement, and record sealing. This builds on another bill that the governor signed, House Bill 1595, which sets up the first ever state-initiated expungement process in the state. Instead of having the individual petition it, the state would actually initiate it. But I want to mention, I want to focus on Senate Bill 2706. This bill was, as I say, it's to bring together people in a task force to figure out what is the best way for us to have a comprehensive framework for all clemency efforts in the state, including pardons, expungement, and record sealing, so that we make it more accessible to people. So people, because, if you have a arrest record, if you have a record that someone can find, you'll have a hard time getting a job. You'll have a hard time signing a rental agreement with a landlord. So we want to help people get their lives back, because some people make mistakes. But let's give them a second chance. I really want to acknowledge some of the groups involved in making this happen. The Hawaii Innocence Project at the University of Hawaii, William S. Richardson School of Law, Jen Brown, Ken Lawson, thank you very much for your efforts. ACLU of Hawaii, Salma Rizzi and Carrie Ann Shiroda, thank you so much for your efforts in helping make us aware of this and the importance of doing this work. The Last Prisoners Project, which is a national group, Frank Stiefel and Adrian Roca, and many others. I just want to say thank you. You've helped us understand the importance of expungement and record clearance and the challenges. Jen, you've had workshops where even lawyers couldn't figure out how to go about doing this. So you made us aware of that. And I want to acknowledge the judiciary, the Attorney General's office, because they are committed to making this work. So this is one of the many bills that the governor is signing. I'm getting choked up because this is such an important bill for so many people. It will change their lives. And thank you. Thank you to all of you for your support to get these bills through. Thank you, Governor, for helping give people's lives back to them so they have a second chance. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Rep. Tarnasai. If you notice, I've been going really quick, fast, and it's partially because our next speaker, I have to say, and normally I don't break protocol, out of all of Bill's signing this season, this is by far the coolest speaker coming up, hands down the best speaker we've had all Bill signing season, and I'm just super excited. I can't stop smiling. Up next, I'd like to introduce Nicole Nakasuji, a new mom, so I gave it away, an educator and the person credited with being the genesis of one of the important bills being signed today. Please welcome Nicole.
Hi, this is Zane, my 5.5-month-old, and part of the reason I'm here in regards to Bill SB 2845. The other reason I'm here is to share the background that led to the realization of this loophole that needed to be fixed. As an educator, we want our students to feel safe so they can learn, and naturally we build relationships with our students over time in hopes of encouraging this. It is one of those relationships that brought this bill into action. I met a student several years ago when she was a freshman. During her high school career, I learned how she struggled with her mental health, had a history of self-harm, and had attempted suicide. I also knew she had access to an unsecured firearm. So when she came to me with the knowledge that she had learned that there was no age restriction to purchase ammunition, I was immediately concerned. I did some research and discovered that while we have age requirements for purchasing weapons, there actually were no age requirements for buying the ammunition that goes with the weapons. If the ability to purchase firearms has an age requirement, it seems only logical that purchasing ammunition for those weapons should too. So as both an educator and a new mom, I emailed Senator HAWAI with my concern. It amazed me how quickly he responded and set things in action. It has been fascinating to witness the government work for its people up close. As a result, I want to encourage others to reach out to their legislators if they have a concern for their community, because change is possible. I want to thank Senator HAWAI and all the legislators for listening and moving this bill forward so quickly. I also want to thank Governor Green for signing this bill to safeguard Zane and the countless other children from becoming gun violence statistics. Thank you.
Mahalo, Nicole, and thank you for what you do for our Kiki every day. Next, and finally, please welcome Lynn Costales Matsuoka, Executive Director of the Sex Abuse Treatment Center at Kapi'olani Medical Center for Women and Children.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Lynn from the Sex Abuse Treatment Center. Like everybody else who has spoken before me, it takes a collective effort on behalf of everyone in this room to move these bills forward, in particular for me, SB 2601. So I have to start off by acknowledging and saying a big mahalo to very specific people. Of course, the governor. Thank you so much for seeing the value of this bill. To Representative Tarnas and your Committee on Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs, to the Women's Legislative Caucus, Representative Ichiyama, I cannot begin to tell you how grateful we are for all the work that you have put into this. It has taken us years, as well as to the Senate Committee on Judiciary. Senator Rhodes and his team have really made this happen. But we can't forget our community partners, Parents and Children Together, Ryan Kusimoto, Angie from Domestic Violence Coalition and the Women's Coalition, as well as Monique from DVAC. There are so many others to thank, and I have to say a special shout out to the SATC physicians who work with these children day in and day out. They have been instrumental as well in passing this legislation, writing to the governor and providing their support for this important legislation. Just real quick, SATC is a Sex Abuse Treatment Center is a program of Kapi'olani Hospital. We provide comprehensive services to sex assault victims, adults, and children, from 24-hour hotline to medical to crisis counseling to therapy. But what I really wanted to let everyone know is that in 2023, SATC treated over 1,000 individuals coming in for sex assault services. Of those 1,000 clients that we saw, 47% of them were children. 47%. So I provide that stat to you because I hope that you are alarmed like we are, and I hope you find that unacceptable like we do. Because we really need to do a better job at protecting these kids, and it is prevalent in our community, whether we want to admit it or not. There are a lot of children out there being abused. And so these are only the kids that we know of. If you understand child sexual violence, many of them do not come forward right away for so many different reasons, whether that's family dynamics, and the weight of the world is on them to protect their family and their own self-preservation. So it is not uncommon for them to delay their disclosure, and that's what this bill speaks to. It provides an extended statute of limitations so that these children who will become adults have time to heal, have time to understand what has happened to them. They have time to figure out what path they want to take in their journey of recovery and engaging in the judicial system. They can make decisions for themselves because now they understand whether they want to come forward or not. At least this bill gives them an opportunity to come forward. And for that reason, we are incredibly grateful to the governor for getting us to the finish line. It has taken a while, but it is a very important legislation. And with that, I thank the governor for his commitment to the keiki of this community. So thank you very much.
Mahalo, Lynn. At this time, we do not have any questions from the media. They're eagerly awaiting the governor's presser tomorrow. So I'd like to kindly welcome the governor up to proceed with the bill signing and invite key stakeholders, legislators, etc., to come up so we may proceed. And then both sides, both sides. Some people on the other side.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to do this quietly. This dude is asleep almost, but yes. 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 How many kids do you have? You good? What's his name? Okay, so this one we're doing for Zane. This is to try to keep him and all the other kids in our state safe. So thank you guys for stepping up on this bill. And relating to gambling offenses, you know, people want to go gamble, please do it in Vegas. You know, that would be preferable. Again, an unsafe situation for so many. And I know that Prosecutor has been guiding us for years in this. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Do this one. Okay. Relating to law enforcement, making sure that we have much more quality in our ranks. And you know, we lost a female officer in the call of duty, in the line of duty, not that long ago. And they put their lives on the lines just like all of their male counterparts. So we're proud of them, and we're proud of everyone who fights. Thank you, guys. Okay, yeah. Oh, sorry. And then relating to sexual abuse of minors, this is for all the young people that end up going through SATC, the 500 that are minors every year. Shocking as that may seem, and keep in mind that the average age of a child being sex trafficked or a person being sex trafficked is, I think it's something like 11.8 years old in the state of Hawaii, very young, and this bill ties to the abuse that occurs to young women for the most part. So incredible work at SATC. Thank you for all that you've done all these years.
Four bills up.
Okay.
I can pass this one up to her. We're just going to hold for a photo.
You're a gambler.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
So we're going to start here. This is the primary camera, and then they'll call it out. Find the light.
All right, then, man, there's you. Oh.
2 and 1. Thank you. Everybody smile, big smile. Okay, over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
You're next. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.